Hi, everyone. This is Dr. Gayle Carson. Welcome to Living Regret Free, a program that shows you how to live a better and more joyful life. As an added bonus, I invite you to listen to an introduction to my Mindset Matters program, which ties into this so well. Go to www.sobmindset.com. It's free, and I know you will enjoy it. If you'd like to contact me personally, drop me a line at gaylecarson13@gmail.com or go to my website, www.spunkyoldbroad.com, and sign up for my weekly newsletter.
My guest today is Amy Dix. Amy's an entrepreneur, an international motivational speaker, a two-time international best-selling author, and a positive psychology practitioner. She's got a BS degree in industrial distribution from the University of Nebraska and is founder of the Positive Life Company, which brings the science and research behind happiness to show others they can achieve anything they want in life before it's too late. And her first best-selling book, Brand New You, Your Must-Have Guide to a Profitable, Influential, Kick-Ass Brand, was followed by her current book, 7 More Days, Live a Life That's Bursting with Positivity and Happiness Before It's Too Late. Welcome to the show, Amy.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
It's so interesting because all of these things are, about joy and happiness, and that's what this show is all about, and that's what I'm all about. But the more I talk to people in the, shall we say, business world or in the sales world, they all say nobody pays for joy and happiness.
Yeah.
And so I have kind of changed things a little bit as to how I do it. And I just wondered, if you found the same thing.
Yeah, that's a really interesting conversation because when I first got into this, I actually thought the same thing. Like I had the mindset like, well, nobody's going to pay for this. Nobody wants to hear you. Like they're just going to find their own happiness from within. But the reality is that's not true at all. And there's so many, all of us, it doesn't matter who you are or what stage of life you're in, the ultimate, I call it happiness as a reward, not a goal, but the ultimate reward in life is happiness. And there's different avenues to get there. And I think that when you tie it to business and look at it from like a business perspective and look at successful business owners, entrepreneurs, CEOs, there's an underlying factor there. And that underlying factor and the one thing that we don't talk enough about is happiness and is joy.
Well, I mean, I don't disagree with you, but I just thought it was very interesting. Wherever I went, the commercial people told me, no, it doesn't pay. So what inspired you to research the science of happiness?
So I had a moment, my mom in April of 2016, she was diagnosed with terminal brain cancer. And she had said these words to me, and it really kind of like snowballed this whole research, understanding happiness, joy, positivity. And what she said to me was, Amy, I am not afraid to die. And I thought in that moment, like, wow, you are braver than I am, because I don't know that I could be laying on my deathbed and just say those words. Like, she just was so confident in saying them. And it had this enormous impact on me because this woman led this insanely positive, happy life despite challenges that were thrown her way throughout life, as we all have challenges. And so that really kind of spiraled this whole thing. And I started studying the science behind happiness. And, is it something you're born with, or is it something you have to work on? Or like, why was my mom so positive through life, but other people are, Debbie Downers or negative all the time? Like, why is that? And so that's really what started the entire process.
So what did you find? Because I find I've got a very positive mindset, and it is very hard to depress me. I mean, I can stay depressed for maybe 30 seconds and then I'm
Yes,
back again.
right.
And I don't know, I've just always been like that. So what did you find out about that?
Yes, so I feel the same way. And so when I started studying, I found out that humans are predisposed to negativity. Okay, it's just like how our brains are wired. It's called the negativity bias factor. And it just essentially means that we are attracted to negativity more than we are to positivity. We also found
Maybe that's why we like the news so much. I don't know.
well, that's another conversation too, is like, and that's very, very true. And I stopped watching the news about 8 or 9 years ago for that reason, right? It's just a little too negative for me. But, I made that decision, and I'm not telling people to stop watching the news, but that's exactly true. That's why we are attracted to the news, because they've figured it out. Like, they know that those stories are what's going to pull people in, all that drama. And so we are predisposed to it. And there is called like the gene variant deletion, or the gene deletion variant, and 50% of Caucasians have this gene deletion variant. And what that means is, if you have it, you are more emotionally charged in certain situations, and therefore you are, again, prone to more negativity than positivity. So it's really, truly something that we have to work at. And some of us have to work harder than others. So, like, when you say, oh, I might be depressed for 30 seconds, but, I can snap out of it. Well, that's awesome. A lot of people can't. And so we all have to work at it, but we're all not working at it at our own pace. But yet it's still something that we have to work on, just because of the way that we're wired.
Wow, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know about that gene, and it's amazing to know that many people have it. But you promote Positive Life. That's the name of your company, the Positive Life Company, and you promote the message of positive life. So how do you do it?
Yeah, so through the Positive Life Company, it was really started off of this whole idea that the world is a little bit in chaos. However, that whatever that means to you or the listeners, and it could just be like your world, like your own world is in chaos, and that we need to do a better job of spreading happiness and positivity, because we are essentially in a happiness crisis. And so that's how it all started. And so we do, we try to spread the message to as many people as possible. We have started chapters within the United States. Our first chapter is in Lincoln, Nebraska, where we meet with a group of very like-minded people that are, that get this message and understand this message and want to push the local community and the world forward in a more positive environment. So we have that, and then as well as I travel the whole United States doing motivational talks, and just trying to spread the message that way, because I think we all want to be happy and joyful. It's just a matter of, sometimes we just need like that little kick, and sometimes we need to understand why it is that we're not happy in that moment, and what can we do to kind of change that, because this is a life that we're leading every single day. And to be miserable or sad, or while it's okay to feel sad, but if we stay in that too long, then that life is not a joyful life, and that's what we don't want for anyone.
No, it's not a joyful life, but it's so funny because your degree is in industrial distribution, which is as far away as you can get
Right.
from a positive
Yes.
life, as far, in my opinion, anyway. So it's just interesting that you went this route. Did you ever work in industrial distribution?
Yes. I worked for an amazing company right out of college. They're an electrical distributor, and I worked for them for 10 years. And when I finally, I tried to leave them like a few times, and they kept saying, no, don't leave. And finally, I think they were like, okay, if you're going to go. And so I left and started a marketing company. And then just from there, kind of fell into this whole positivity message. And it's funny because I think sometimes that it's just like this new message that I've been saying since I've started the company, the Positive Life Company, or since my mom, was diagnosed. But really, it's funny about Facebook and social media. and our memories pop up. And I will see memories from 6, 7, 10 years ago where I'm saying the same things that I'm saying now. So I feel like it wasn't like a forefront of my message, but it's interesting because I've always had it as a part of me. I just never really realized it.
Well, it's so true because I'm going through my stuff as I'm gathering, I'm going to be moving. And so naturally you go through your things. What do you want to save? What do you want to keep?
Right.
And I'm thinking, I have been saying the same thing for 30, 40 years. It
Wow.
came out in different ways, but,
Yes.
it was there. And I'm thinking to myself, this is amazing. I mean, of course, I think I have expanded and then I've retracted, and things like that. But it's amazing that this theme has been there the entire time. So you use something as a daily practice called moments.
Yes.
And you said it transforms your everyday life. Explain it to our audience.
Yes. Okay. So moments is a daily practice that I go through every single day. And it's the acronym moment. And each one kind of stands for something different. So every day, so I'll kind of walk through it every day. So you have M, the first M in moment, in the word moment, and that's mute. And so every day, and I like to do it in the mornings just before my day gets a little chaotic. But I am mute for 5 minutes. That's it. It's just me and my thoughts. And you can go the route of like mindfulness and meditation, which I love. Sometimes people get a little uneasy about meditation, like, oh, I can't meditate, it's too hard, I can't shut my brain off. I understand that. And so it's a work in progress. So I just say start somewhere, and if you can just be completely mute with no distractions for 5 minutes a day, then now you reset your emotions, you've reset your thought, you've set intention. So I do that when I wake up in the morning. And then O is for outcome. And outcome is, what is I always say you have a lifetime achievement goal. So what is your outcome? What outcome do you want to achieve in life? And sometimes, I think when we talk about our lifetime achievement goal, that can be really, really big. And sometimes that's even like bucket list items that people think that, they have to achieve before they die. Well, my question always is when I talk to people is, what are you doing to make progress towards that goal? And so that's what outcome stands for. It's what little thing can you do today to make progress towards that goal? And it could be towards your lifetime achievement goal. It could be towards your this year's resolution, whatever it is that you're working on. So I'll give you an example. Right now I'm training for a triathlon. So my outcome, for example, yesterday, my outcome was that one little step that I had to take that day in order to get to my triathlon was I had to go for a run that day. That's it. So it was just what is the one thing that you're going to achieve to get one step closer to your goal? And then the other M is memorize. And these are like daily affirmations. I am happy. I am worth it. I am loved. And you're going to say that daily affirmation multiple times during the day, but you need to memorize it so that you say it to yourself throughout the day. And I also like to set like alarms on my phone, just 3, 4, sometimes 5 times a day that go off and remind me to say that affirmation in that moment whenever it goes off. E is for express, and this is express your feelings. And this is one that is sometimes very difficult for people, depending on what your emotional intelligence level is, and a little bit of how you were raised. But express your feelings to a loved one. And this doesn't have to be like this outpouring, expressive, sit down, difficult conversation with someone. I mean, it can be, but you can just say like, today, I'm going to text my friend that I haven't talked to in a few years. And I'm just going to tell her I'm thinking of her and that she makes a difference in this world or something along those lines, right? So you're just expressing your feelings to somebody every single day.
Even if you just say I love you to somebody, it makes a big difference.
Oh my gosh, right? It makes such a big difference. I do this thing when I do my talks where I have people pull out their phones and I say, whoever the first person that you think of, I want you to text them. I don't care what you text them, just something thoughtful. And then what we do is we say, okay, first person to get a text message back, then I just give away a book or whatever. But I have them like tell me what it is that text message is back. And it's so impactful. And there have been tears during those times because you will have sons, daughters, significant others, past friends, whatever, text back and just say, like, oh my gosh, they are so touched by just somebody sending them a text. And then it makes the other person get a little choked up. So I love it. And you're right. It just takes an I love you, and that's it. So that is express. N is noble act. So some sort of unselfish noble act that you can perform for somebody during the day. And then T is for terminate. And this, from working with people, I can tell you, is the hardest one that most people struggle with. And it's, what is one thing that you need to eliminate from your day, from your life? It could be something very easy for that day. It could be something that you're working towards, like terminating a toxic relationship. So sometimes those take work, but you have to, put in the progress towards that.
And then you have, what's the last S?
Nope, it's just moment. Just singular.
Moments.
Just moment.
Moment.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, every one of those are good. I'm looking them over and I'm thinking, well, it's hard for me to be mute when I get up because I greet my kitty cats and I'm talking to them. My outcome is okay. The memorizing, I guess, is okay. I certainly have no problem expressing my feelings. I hope I do noble acts. As a matter of fact, interesting you should mention that. I got my doctorate from Nova Southeastern University, and I serve on their ambassadors board. And for some reason, I got 2 beautiful volumes of their 50-year commemoration. And I was thinking, now, what am I going to do with 2 of them? And there's a woman in the gym in the building who graduated from their law school. And I saw her yesterday, and I said, you probably didn't get one because you're not on the board. I said, but I'd love to give you this extra copy. And I gave it to her this morning, and she just couldn't get over it. I mean, she just was gushing and gushing.
Oh.
And I thought, wow, who knew? And then, of course, terminate. I do have a problem with that because I can be tough, but I don't like to, you don't like to, what do they say, though? Hire slow and fire fast, right?
Right,
so,
right.
But it could be a toxic relationship as well. So how do you determine your own happiness level?
So that is like the ultimate question, because sometimes people think that they're happy and they're positive, but they may or may not be. And through my book, I have like a little assessment in there that kind of walks through some questions that people can answer to kind of determine their happiness level. There's also a resource out there called VIA Institute. And they have a, let's see if I can pull it up while I'm talking to you, but they also have a assessment on their website that you can take to really figure out, your own happiness level. But to just in a simple form, it's viacharacter.org. But in a really simple form, I always say, like, okay, there's 3 areas of your life that you need to master in order to achieve ultimate happiness. And it's your character, your connections, and your community. So character meaning your self-growth, who you are, your connections, meaning your relationship with others, and your community, meaning your outer sphere of influence, or it could be like your local community where you live. It could be the whole world, but just like, what are you doing to make a difference in those 3 areas? And I like to picture it as, I call it the happiness target. So if you just picture a target board, like a dartboard, and it's divided into 3 different sections. One section is your character, one is your connections, and one is your community. And if you were to put a dart on that target of where you are, as far as like the bullseye is ultimate happiness, the further out you go, the less happy you are. So if I were to give you 3 darts and you were to put that on that target board, where would you place those darts in those 3 areas? And how close do you feel you are to the bullseye? And if you can just kind of like mentally picture that, you can and be very, very honest with yourself. I think you can get a really good idea of your own happiness level and maybe some area, one of the areas that you should kind of start to improve in or make some movement in.
Wow, that's very interesting. Yeah, I think sometimes people don't think enough about what's going on around them and seeing uh, how everything is impacting their life. And so, what would you say is the difference between being positive and being realistic? Because I mean, a lot of people get hit in the face every single day with
Yeah.
stuff,
Yeah.
and sometimes it's hard to run away from that.
Yes, yes. We went through this, and I write about this in the book, so it's very public, so I can tell the story. But is we went through this when my mom was dying of brain cancer. My brother, who we're all, I would say, overall, our family is a very positive family. However, my brother in that moment was not realistic, right? He wanted to not talk about the very real fact that she was dying and that she likely was only had months left. He wanted to talk about what we were going to do for her 70th or 80th birthday. And so I like to explain it like that. That is not being real. And sometimes it's discouraging to people when you say, well, just be positive. Oh, just be positive and it'll be fine. Like, that's not always the right answer, right? So I like to explain it this way. Let's say you're driving down the interstate and it's a 2-lane interstate. Well, it's a 4-lane interstate, but your direction is only 2 lanes. And you're in the right lane. The right lane is the positivity lane. The left lane is the realistic lane, okay? You're going down and you're happy and positive and you're going down that right lane and you come up on a semi truck and it's going 10 miles per hour slower. You have an option. You can either stay in the positivity lane, but it's going to take you longer to get to your destination, or you can accept the obstacle that's in place, which is the truck, move into the realistic lane, and now you have to accept reality because you're in the reality lane. And now you pass that obstacle in the reality lane so that you can return to positivity much more quicker.
Interesting. Very interesting. Well, we only have a couple minutes left, so I want to make sure everybody knows how to reach you, Amy. So what's the best way to reach you? Where can they find you? Is there anything you'd like to offer to the audience? Anything at all that you'd like to say?
Hey, you can find our website is thepositivelifeco.com, so you can certainly reach out that way. Even though I am like this weird millennial, that like older millennial, I'm still like so old school. And I just want to tell you, if anyone wants to email me, you can certainly do the old school way. And that's Amy at thepositivelifeco.com.
Fantastic. That's great. Well, I think everybody, they should look for your book. Where can they find your book?
They can find it on Amazon.
Okay,
seven more days.
Oh, okay. So you can find her book on Amazon, and she's got 2 of them. Brand New You Must Have a Guide to a Profitable, Influential, Kick-Ass Brand. And then her current book is 7 More Days, Live a Life That's Bursting with Positivity and Happiness Before It's Too Late. And, Amy, it's the best attitude to have. I think joy and happiness and positive thinking is what makes the world go round. So you're certainly right. You're right in there feeling that same way. So if you want to get in touch with Amy by email, it's Amy, AMY, at thepositivelifeco.com. And that's her website, thepositivelifeco.com. So take advantage, see what she has to offer. See, if you're feeling in a funk, practice her moment, mute, outcome, memorize affirmations, express your feelings, do a noble act, and terminate toxic relationships. Can't get any better than that. I mean, that's fabulous. So, Amy, it has been a delight to have you with us today. Anything else you'd like to leave us with? We've got about 30 seconds.
No, it's been such a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're so welcome. You're so welcome. And since my listeners know how I am about positivity and so forth, I can't recommend Amy's program enough. Her site, if you decide you want to work with her, that would be terrific. So, again, thanks for being with us, Amy, and good luck to you in everything that you do.
Thank you. You as well.
Thanks for listening, and I hope you enjoyed today's show. I choose my guests carefully, so if you have someone you'd like me to interview, please drop me a line at gaylecarson13@gmail.com. In the meantime, check out my intro program, Mindset Matters, at www.sobmindset.com. See you next week.